Francine from REMAX Crown Realty, and I just want to thank you very much for joining me today for our series on Ask an Expert. Today I have Francois Pelletier from Highland Home Roofing, and he is going to be so gracious to let us know all about our roofing questions. So, Frenchie, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Enjoying the weather finally. Starting to chill out a little bit and enjoying the times right now without the rain, so it's been nice.
Yes, put more roofs on, right?
That's right.
Can you tell me a little bit about Highland Home Roofing?
Well, Highland Home's been around for a little over 35 years now. I've been with the company for 18 years, and then last January, my family and I decided to purchase the business to keep it a family-owned and operated business in our community.
Wonderful, wonderful. You've been here a long time.
Oh yeah.
And what areas do you service?
Right now we go as far north as Cocoa and as far south as Fort Pierce.
Okay.
I am licensed in Port St. Lucie or St. Lucie County, but I like to try to stay closer to home. There's plenty of business here to take care of our local customers.
Okay, wonderful. And how many employees do you have in your company?
It does fluctuate from time to time. Some guys right now, especially at this time with COVID and so forth, like most of my crews are 4 and 5 or 6 guys deep. But right now, sometimes they're only 3 or 4 because of the stuff that we're going through here locally. But right now I do have 4 complete crews, and they vary again from 4 to 7 people depending on, what's going on right now with COVID.
Wonderful. Do you subcontract any work out?
All of our employees work directly for us.
Okay.
I find that I've learned from my predecessors that it's easier to control your jobs, the quality of work, and timing when all your employees work directly for you. So it makes it a lot more convenient for us as a company, and it's better for the consumer. They have more confidence knowing that all the crews are licensed by the same company, they're insured by the home company, and it makes it for better quality work.
Right, and they're employing employees that live in their hometown.
That's correct.
Yeah. Are you licensed and insured?
Yes, we are. We are licensed and insured. We have been, obviously, like I said, for over 35 years here in Sebastian and Vero Beach area. And it makes it much easier for us to get our jobs done, go through local administrations with the permitting process, and it's a necessity.
Right, yes, exactly. How experienced is your crew?
Most of my crews have been with me for 5+ years at this time. You do get, every once in a while, I get a lot of calls from other crews in the area that want to come work for us. Don't know what their circumstances and why they work for somebody else, but it's a growing area. Right now, new construction has really picked up, but I like to just stay at 4. Everybody's happy. I got plenty of work to keep myself about 5 to 6, 7 weeks out, and people are pretty much understanding with that. I don't really want to rush things, so it's, if everything's timed right and ordered correctly, we really never have a problem with material supplies, even now during this pandemic era that we're living in.
Right.
And it just makes it go a lot smoother. You start getting into more crews, it gets more difficult.
Right. Yep.
Quality control is critical.
Right. Perfect. How many homes can you do at one time?
Right now we average about 5 to 7 on a weekly basis.
Okay.
And then those are re-roofs. New construction, I do anywhere from 6 to 10, just depending on the builders in our area. Sometimes they don't have all the supplies and materials that they need, so it fluctuates.
Okay. And how long is a wait period to get a new roof?
Right now, like I said, it's anywhere between 4, 5, or 6 weeks.
Okay.
It also depends on the size of the project. Everything is unique. Every job is different.
Right.
They're not all the same. So, and also circumstances. We do have a situation where when it comes to realtors like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
We have a special crew that we handle those kind of emergencies. There's always timing issues, trying to get the closing done on time, or whatever the time restraints is, we try to meet those needs. And so one of my crews does specialize in that.
Right. So you brought up the realtor situation. So if I have a customer, let's say I have a buyer, and they get their inspection report and the roof comes out that it needs a new one. Mm-hmm. So we go to the seller, and the seller happens to agree that they will put a new one on. You give out quotes for metal roofs and shingle roofs. Is there a way that the buyer could, if of course the seller will probably want to put on the shingle,
Sure.
it's probably a little bit less. But is there a way for the buyer, if they chose to put on the metal if they wanted?
Absolutely. What's really nice about that system is that some people like the security of a metal roof and knowing that they last longer than a shingle does. So when they're buying a new home for themselves, they like to say, hey, if I get the benefits of the metal, can I pay the difference? And a lot of sellers agree to that. And then now you've got a happy seller and a happy buyer.
Right, perfect. That's great. What is this, since we're talking about metal and shingle roofs, what is the difference between a metal and a shingle roof?
The shingle roofs are rated for 130 mile an hour winds. Your metal roofs are rated for 140 mile an hour winds. So that is a small difference. Shingles really do hold up great, and a lot of people don't like the metal. They like the look of the shingle. But when it comes down to the protection, I really don't see a lot of blue tarps on metal roofs. So I guess the biggest thing is it will last longer, and you have a sense of a little bit more security, knowing that if we do, God forbid, get a really bad storm, that you'll be a little bit more protected.
Okay. Do you do repairs only, or is it full shingled or metal roofs?
We do have a repair division.
Okay.
It just depends on what's going on. Sometimes we get them pretty quickly. If they're leaking right then and there, as soon as it dries out, then we can go ahead and send one of our crews there and take care of it. It just depends on the circumstances, but we do quite a few repairs during the week.
Okay, perfect. What is your average cost? Like, is there like a little gauge you can give us on like average cost of a roof, or are they just completely different?
They are different depending on the house. Some houses are gable to gable, some houses have a lot of hips and valleys. So all that takes into calculation about what the roof should cost to do the replacement. I can tell you as a company, we're not going to be the highest and we're not going to be the lowest. We're right in the middle. We know what our competition does. One of the things we do highly recommend, and most important, that's what we talked about, crews being our own, we do cover their workman's comp and liability. So that's the only people I cannot compete against is when they sub things out.
Yeah.
They do save some money that way, and you just got to hope that that crew that they have working on it has their own certificate of workman's comp and liability.
Right, yes. How long does it take to complete the process of putting on a new roof?
Great question. Once the crew starts, first of all, when we get there, we bring our containers, we put the permit on the job. Once the material starts getting delivered for tear off, that takes about a day to 2 days, pretty much max. A standard size house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. And then once that occurs, we get it ready for in progress. So now you're on day 3. Day 4 is an inspection day, and day 5 is starting to put the metal or shingle back on, and that usually takes 1 to 2 days, depending on the size.
Right.
So about a week to 7 days.
Okay, wonderful. Do you remove the old roof, or do you re-shingle over to have a second layer?
So we've learned in the past not to do that. Quick example, someone purchased a home 3 years ago. It was re-roofed shingle over shingle, and we learned that the plywood surface that you can't see from underneath will start decaying quickly. And we had no idea, and this homeowner ended up replacing 64 sheets of plywood on his house that he had no idea what he was about to do. So as a company, we have decided not to ever do that. They can choose any other roofer to do so, but we don't recommend it. It's highly risky. You're going to cut the lifespan of that top shingle in half, and you have the risk of decaying your plywood from the surface down.
Right, because if there's any moisture that they didn't catch
It doesn't
in there,
get rid
it's
of it.
still, with our humidity, it's gonna
Right, it
make
also
it worse.
builds condensation in there too. So
Oh, okay.
that second layer will actually create moisture with that effect to make it to where it will make the plywood wet and rot.
then rot, right. Okay. You mentioned this before. You do bring your own dumpsters to the property.
Yes, we have our own trailers and their tires so they don't damage the driveways. Special occasions like when we tear off a tile roof and somebody wants to go metal or not deal with tile anymore, we do require those larger containers because they hold more weight. But probably 80% of the time we use our own.
Okay, great. the building permit that is required, do you fill out that paperwork or does the homeowner have to go do it?
Yes, we do everything from start to finish. There's only a few things that you don't need permit for, as far as for a trailer, let's say, it's not required. But all residential homes or commercial properties are required to do permit, and we do everything from start to finish.
Okay, great. That's makes a lot of ease.
Oh yeah.
What are the steps do you take to ensure the safety of the family's home and their gutters? Do you take them off or do you replace them? What is the thing with the gutters?
So nowadays it's a little bit different. Everything's a scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's going from shingle to metal,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a 4-inch gutter, we recommend they're not going to hold up. The water's just going to come off too fast. So we upgrade those to a 6-inch. We do have our own gutter process and our own gutter machines to do that for their convenience. As far as protecting them, if they have a new set of 6-inch gutters, we work around that. We have these things that go into the gutters that prevent us from even touching them. We don't have to take them down. We remove the shingle and the drip edge without taking them down. And then if there's pins that are seen, we remove those pins and we put screws back in. So we try not to bang up the gutters the best we can. And if something happens, we just replace it.
Right. Okay. And the safety of the home when you're taking off the roof.
So we tarp around the perimeter. The other thing that you have to be concerned about is people's plants.
Yes.
We try our best. I mean, we are dealing with something that's going to fall off a roof. I've always instructed my crews and my personnel to, if something's going, let it go. I'd rather replace a small plant or replace a screen or whatever the case may be, as opposed to somebody's health or safety.
Right.
So we do our best, but it is roofing. And you're going to have some accidents, but we like to take care of them if they occur.
Okay, wonderful. That's great. What happens if we have bad weather?
So we kind of forecast our weather. We have on our television here at the office, we have Weather Channel on constantly, and we try to predict what they're trying to predict. So that being said,
good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, if there's a high risk of in the afternoon of high rains, we'll either start earlier in the morning and finish a little early and not complete the whole job of tear off, but we always peel and stick that roof that day.
Okay.
If there's any chance of not being able to do that, we won't do it.
Okay.
We'll wait until there's a clearer day.
Clearer day, and then you just and then you just move on.
Less risk, more reward.
Right, exactly. Do you guarantee the roofs to be done by a certain date?
Again, weather permitting.
Mm-hmm.
If they're done within that 5 to 7 day span,
Mm-hmm.
then that's average for the community.
Okay.
If you're able to have your own engineer on staff and you get to forego the inspections, then you can do it a little quicker, but we keep with the traditional, go through the regular steps of re-roofing.
Right.
And again, fall within that 5 to 7 days, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and if there's something in the weather, I mean, you're going to talk to the customer and you're going to say, look, it's your roof. I don't want to take this off while we have this weather event going.
One of the benefits that I have with our company is our project manager. He's been around with us for a number of years, but he came from a traffic controller position when he was younger, so he's a great asset to us tremendously. He keeps calm and he has a great communication skills with our consumers.
Wonderful, great. Does the roof come with a warranty?
Yes, we carry a 5-year warranty for as far as the labor, and then it just depends on the manufacturer. Owens Corning will carry a 25-year shingle warranty. GAF, we are a master installer of theirs. We do have the 50-year for them as well. In metal, it ranges 25 to 30 years depending on the manufacturer here locally.
Okay, great. Do you do a wind mitigation for the insurance?
All of our jobs include a wind mitigation report when it's completed, and we supply that, and then they will get it mailed to them by my supplier of the wind mitigation report.
Okay, wonderful. How is the payment made?
For us, it works very easily. I felt this was the best way, where we do 10% deposit, and then when we start the job, you get invoiced for 50%. At that stage, you'll pay the 50%, and then the next payment you pay is the balance when you're all done and satisfied, and it's all past inspections.
Wonderful, great. Do you inspect the attic for any water damage, and do you fix that if there is?
Usually we tell everything from the surface. So when we initially give an estimate, we try not to crawl into people's attics too much. 90% of the time we will see a leak from the ground. Either the plywood will be dipping or they'll have a stain on their ceiling. We do crawl up to the attic if it's close by without having to go through all the duct work and everything like that, because accidents can happen. There's no sense. We know there's a leak, we know where it is, so we tend to just wait until we either do the repair. When we do open the roof, if there's plywood damage, we replace it. If there's dark plywood and it's not molded yet, it just depends on the integrity of that. If it's still strong, you can just leave it. Once you've eliminated the leak, it will not continue to spread.
Right. Okay, wonderful. Well, I thank you very much, Frenchie, for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything that you would like to add?
We get a lot of questions from a lot of consumers, and most of it's, like all that you've covered. Are we licensed and insured? Do we have our own people? When can you get it done? So those are the standard ones. I can tell you 100 different scenarios because there's a lot of different style homes here. The best thing to do is contact your local roofer and get those questions asked, and then find out for yourself as a consumer what's the best route for you and who can handle the job for you the best.
Okay, wonderful. And would you mind giving us your phone number and how to contact you and your location, please?
Sure. Again, Highland Homes Roofing. We are located at 1136 US Highway 1, right next to Vic's Pizza, which is a nice location. Our office phone number is 772-388-1411.
Okay. And again, where you service Melbourne to Fort Pierce?
Melbourne all the way to as far south as Fort Pierce, but I am also licensed in St. Lucie County.
Okay, wonderful. Well, this is Francine from REMAX Crown Realty, and I just want to thank Frenchie very much from Highland Home Roofing for joining me today on Ask an Expert. We will include your information in our screen so that everybody will be able to write it down. And if you have any roofing questions, make sure you give them a call. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Frenchie.
Thanks.